Hi, I'm Eric Hicks with SEOcoding.com. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Google Analytics from a business owner's perspective. Now, what I've noticed is that business owners look at analytics and they get a little overwhelmed by everything, when the reality is that they just want to know about a few things in analytics. So this video explains the metrics in analytics that I've noticed are important to business owners about their website traffic, and that is traffic, mobile, and keyword phrase metrics. Alright, so let's get going. First, to log into your analytics account, you need to go to google.com/analytics. Log in using your Google account's email and password. If you're using a non-Gmail account, you'll need to register your email with Google. Just click Create an Account and follow the instructions. After you've logged in, you'll be directed to the account home page. Choose the account you want to view by clicking on it. I'm going to look at one of my clients, thekidcounselor.com. That site gets a fair amount of traffic for a blog, so that will be a good example to use. After you pick a site, you'll be sent to the Visitors Overview page. Notice that you're in the Standard Reporting section of Analytics. We'll discuss a new feature under the Home section in a little bit, but for now you're in the Standard Reporting. Now, some people never make it off this page because this has everything they want to see, and that is the number of visitors on their site. A lot of people just want to see that, and that's fine, but I'm going to show you a few more ways to drill down and interpret what you're looking at. One thing you'll notice is the cyclical nature of web traffic, or what I like to call the traffic roller coaster. Most websites experience traffic highs and lows depending on the day of the week. This site starts building traffic on Monday, peaks on Wednesday, and hits its low during the weekend. Now, I've managed other sites that have the opposite effect. I used to manage a soccer news website whose traffic spiked on Saturday through Monday, and its lows were Tuesday through Friday. Now, why is this traffic cycle important to know about? Well, because you can at least formulate theories about how people find your site. In this case, what we're looking at, we theorize that people mainly look for child therapists during the week and not so much on the weekend. So if you're thinking about running a pay-per-click campaign, for instance, based on this info, you might want to consider turning it off on the weekends. The point here is that you can use this trend to interpret how and when people visit your site, and then make adjustments to your business strategy or marketing if necessary. Next, I want to show you how to interpret these numbers below the chart. If I scroll down, there's a bunch of numbers and I'll try to make sense of them for you. First, the 5,292 visits is simply how many times your site was visited. Next, the unique visitors shows you how many of those visits were unique. I like to think of these as individual visits. Some people may have visited your site multiple times, so the unique visitors tell you how many individuals visited your site. The pages per visit is an interesting metric because that tells you, as people visit your site, do they look around or not? Now that leads nicely to the average visit duration, which is an indicator of how long people actually spend on your site. Next, the bounce rate is an interesting metric because that tells you the percentage of people who simply bounce off your site after only viewing one page. Finally, the pie chart on the right shows you the breakdown between new and returning visitors. The higher the returning visitor percentage shows you a measure of loyalty, or that people find something to keep visiting your site for. So say you're a restaurant. Maybe you post a weekly coupon on your site. That would be a way to get this returning visitor average up, therefore increasing your customer loyalty. Another strategy for increasing this is if you have a lot of Facebook followers, you might want to post something on your wall that actually links back to your website. That would increase your returning visitor percentage as well. Next, I want to show you how to adjust the timeline for this chart. You can select different date ranges by clicking the down arrow on the date range in the upper right. You can choose a predefined date range or select your own. The predefined date ranges are today, yesterday, last week, or last month. So if I choose today and click apply, I'll see just the traffic from today, and that would be 71 visits. I can also choose to see just last week or last month. Now if you want to pick a custom date range, just click on your starting date and then click an ending date and click apply. Now why would you choose a different date range than the default? Well, when you filter on a date range, that also filters all the other data that analytics collects and specifies it for that date range. I'll explain this further in just a minute, but for example, if I want to know what phrases people typed into Google to find my page for a specific date range, this is how I would narrow down that date range. You can also adjust the chart to reveal visits per hour, day, week, or month. The main one that I use is hourly because sometimes I want to know what times of the day my traffic is spiking. Okay, so let's go over to the menu on the left and I'll show you a few other reports that I think you'll find useful. Under the audience section of reports, the mobile report may be of interest to you. Select the mobile menu item and you'll see a breakdown of mobile versus desktop traffic. Scroll down a bit more and you'll see the table that shows you how many visits were mobile for that date range. In this case, 5,401 visits were computers and 1,104 were mobile. So that's actually over 20% of the traffic to this site is mobile. Now, why would you want to know this? Well, just like in this website owner's case, if you're getting that much mobile traffic, it would be wise to consider updating your website so that it's mobile optimized, right? I'm actually going to be converting this site to what's called a responsive website design, where the content is optimized for both the desktop or the mobile experience. So if your mobile traffic percentage is increasing, I would highly recommend considering a website redesign. And there's two ways of going about that. You can make a totally separate website just for mobile, or you can implement a responsive design and only have to maintain one site, so to speak. I really recommend converting to a responsive design these days. It's the least expensive option in my opinion. Now, if you're interested in a mobile website, feel free to call or email me and I can show you your options. Alright, moving on. Let's close the audience section, and the only metric that I've noticed business owners are mainly interested in seeing are keyword phrases. Now that is, how are people finding my website in Google? So under traffic sources, click on sources, then search, then organic. Okay, so scroll down and you'll see the top 10 phrases that people have typed into Google and found your website. Now, I can't stress enough how important it is to look through this periodically. First, this gives you an indicator of the effectiveness of your search engine optimization efforts. In this case, I was specifically targeting two keyword phrases, child therapist and child counseling. And as you can see, that is exactly the top two phrases searched upon to find this website. So that means my SEO strategy is working. On the flip side, say you're a plumber in Tampa, Florida. If Tampa, Florida plumber, or some variation of that, is nowhere to be found on this list, then that's probably a good indicator that your website needs some SEO help. You'd increase your website traffic and in turn your revenue if you get your website found for the term that most applies to your business, in this case, Tampa, Florida plumber. So analyze this list of keywords to figure out how people are finding your website and make adjustments. Again, I can't stress how important this section of Google Analytics is. This is really the indicator of effectiveness of your website. If you want your website to be a revenue generator and not just this thing that you spend money on each month because you have to, then you really need to pay attention to how people are finding your site and make adjustments using search engine optimization. Now, if you have questions on this keyword list or about SEO, feel free to email me and I'll be glad to help you out. Okay, The last standard report that I'll briefly mention, because it's outside the scope of this video, is conversions. If you actually sell something via your website or you run a pay-per-click AdWords campaign, you'll want to set up conversions to know how effective your website is at turning a visitor into a customer. Again, it's outside the scope of this video, but I just wanted to mention it so that you know this feature is there and you can use it to get additional metrics on sales conversions. Okay, now I'll briefly show you a brand new feature that is kind of cool. It's called Real-Time Analytics. So click Home, and on the left you'll see the Real-Time menu item. Click on that and then click Overview. Now what this is a live report of what's actually happening on your website. You can see how many people that are currently on your website and what pages they are viewing and even where they are coming from. So right now there is no one viewing this website, but I'm going to show you how this works, so I'm going to actually go visit this site quickly. Okay, so I just visited this site. Now let me flip back to analytics real quick and you'll see the real-time reporting happen. And there you go, one visitor on the site, and they are viewing the home page as indicated by the top active page list. Now if I go back to the site and click on another page, you'll see how the report changes to reflect the new page view. And there you go. I just thought this was really cool, and when I first discovered it, I used to keep this window open all the time and watch my traffic in real time. Well, once the novelty wears off, you probably won't be looking at it that often, but it is a cool new feature, and it may be useful to you if, say, you have a website that gets a lot of traffic, or say you blasted out a bulk email campaign and you want to watch the traffic, or you want to watch the effect of that email blast. In that case, you may be glued to this report more often. Okay, so that's it. What we covered was Google Analytics and what features of it I thought would be most useful for a website owner. There are many more features in analytics, but quite frankly, as a business owner, your time is valuable, so you just want to focus on traffic, mobile, and keyword phrase metrics. I hope I've helped you with your understanding of Google Analytics. I really enjoyed making this video for you, and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll be notified when I post more videos that you find useful in understanding SEO and how it affects your website and your business. Take care.